Today I'm going to show you how to work a 3-needle bind-off, and I'm going to treat this as 2 shoulder pieces. So let's say you've finished knitting 2 fronts of a sweater and you are ready to join the shoulders. Ordinarily you would bind off all these stitches and then you would align the pieces like this, and you would sew, sort of in a grafting seam, you would sew these pieces together and it would look neat and invisible. We have another video showing you how to do that. It's not terribly hard, but if you want to avoid that, or if you want to give your shoulders a bit of extra stability, you can work a 3-needle bind-off. And as the name implies, you're going to need 3 needles. You have to leave all the stitches live, and you should have your needle points facing the same direction when you're about to start. You should have the same number of stitches on both sides, but if you don't worry about it too much. You can just decrease one of the extra stitches away as you're binding off. As you can see here, I've done a straight top here. There's no shaping, no shoulder shaping. So this is kind of like, let's think of this as a really basic square-shaped sweater with no shoulder shaping. This piece is a little shaped because I just wanted to point out that sometimes you can do this kind of bind off if you've done short row shaping on your shoulder. We'll cover that in another video in the future, but I just wanted to show you the nice smooth shaping and how this can be joined with 3-needle bind off. I'm going to use a contrast color of yarn just so you can see what's going on. Align your needles so that both the points are facing the same way. You can hold them in one hand. You're going to be treating them almost as though they're one needle. So, take your 3rd needle, your empty needle. In this case, you won't be using a new yarn, you'll be using one of the dangling ends from your knitted pieces. But I just want you to see what's happening. So, enter the first stitch as if to knit, enter the second one, which is on the needle behind it, and knit these 2 stitches together. This isn't difficult, but it might take a little getting used to the first time. Nudge those stitches off. You're going to do that again. So now you've knit 4 stitches into just 2. So you've joined the 2 pieces already. And now you're going to just bind off as usual. Pick up that stitch and pull it over the second one. And you just continue like that, just as though you're binding off regular knitting, but you're knitting together another stitch before you actually bind off that first one. And keep going. I forgot to mention that if you want the 3-needle bind off to be on the inside of your knitting and hidden, it won't be invisible. You'll still see a little divot where it is, but you should have your right sides facing each other so that the wrong side of the knitting is facing you. This is garter, so there's really no right or wrong, but yeah, if you want the seam to be a decorative element, you should have the wrong sides facing each other so the seam is actually outside and visible to the public. I've worked my way across all of the stitches on both needles, and you can see that the piece is united, and it just looks like a regular bind off right on the top here. You've got that row of chain stitches. You can see on the back, because I used a different yarn, you can see the pearl bump backs. And if this were my wrong side, I would just turn it inside out, and this would be the inside of my sweater. So you can see that it's basically invisible. You can see a bit of the yarn just because I used a contrast. And you can see that there is a definite ditch. This is going to happen with a stockinette fabric too. So it'll sit on your shoulder just fine, but you will be able to see where you've joined the pieces. And if that bothers you, then learn to perfect the other kind of shoulder seam where you're grafting the stitches together for a cleaner join. You can also decide to put this bound off edge to the outside, to the public. It forms a really nice, on stockinette especially, it forms a really nice cord, kind of a horizontal element. It kind of sticks up. It's a bit 3-dimensional. In the free pattern Buckland on Berroco.com, you can see we've put it right in the middle of the center of a sweater to join 2 pieces that have been worked side to side, and it forms a really nice ridge. Hope you've enjoyed this video.